Get you with him, you old dog. This old dog my reward. Most true I've lost my teeth at thy service. God be with my old master. He would not have spake such a word. Yet even so, begin to grow upon me. I will physic your ranklers, yet give you no £1,000 neither. Hey, Dennis.
Oh, your worship.
Was not Charles the Duke's wrestler here to speak with me?
So please you. He is here at the door. Introduce access to you.
Show him in. 'Twill be a good way. Tomorrow the wrestling is. Good, Monsieur Charles.
Good morrow to you, your worship.
The new news at the new court.
There is no news in court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old Duke has been banished by his younger brother, the new Duke. 3 or 4 11 lords have put themselves in a voluntary exile with him. Lands and revenues enrich the new Duke, therefore he gives them good leave to wander.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the Duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh no, the Duke's daughter, her cousin, so loves her, being ever from the cradle bred together, she would have followed her into exile, died to stay behind. She is at court, no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter, or no 2 ladies are left as they do.
Where will the old Duke live?
He say he's in the forest of Arden, with many a merry men with him, where they live like the old Robin Hood of England. He say many a young gentleman flock to them every day, fleet their time carelessly, as they did the Golden World.
You wrestled before the new Duke?
Married do I, sir. I came to acquaint you with a matter. I'm given, sir, secretly to understand, your younger brother, Orlando, has a disposition to come in disguise to try a fall against me. Your brother is but young and tender. At my love for you, I'd be loath to foil it, but I must for my own honour. Therefore I came hither to you, that you may save from his intemper to brook such disgrace that he'll run into. This is a fig of his own, sir, and altogether against my will.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou wilt find I will most kindly requite. I had notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have laboured by underhand means to dissuade him from it, but he is resolute. I tell thee, Charles, he is the stubbornest young fellow, full of ambition, an envious emulator of every man's good parts, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore, use thy discretion. I would as lief thou did break his neck as his finger, but thou wert best look to it, for if thou dost him any slight disgrace, or if he does not mightily grace himself upon thee, he will practise against thee by poison, entrap thee by some treacherous device, and never leave thee till he attain thy life by some indirect means or other. I assure thee, and almost with tears as I speak it, there is not one so villainous, so young this day living. I speak brotherly of him, but should I anatomise him to thee as he is, I must blush and weep, and thou must look pale and wonder.
I'm heartily glad I come hither to you, your worship, because tomorrow I'll give him his payment. Ere it comes along again, I never wrestle but praise no more. So God keep your worship.
Farewell, Charles. Now I will stir this gamester. It will not be so long. Yet for my heart I know not why hates nothing more than he. It is gentle, never schooled but learned, full of noble device, and of all sorts enchantingly beloved, and indeed so much in the heart of the world, and especially of mine own people, that I am altogether misprized. Nothing remains, though, that I kindle the boy hither, which now I will go about.
Rosalind, sweet my cuz, be merry. Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of. Would you yet I were merrier? Unless you can teach me how to forget a banished father, you must not once learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasures. Herein, I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke, my father, so thou hadst still been with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love towards me was so righteously tempered as mine is to thee? Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours. father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have. Truly when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father, perforce I will render thee again in affection. By mine honour I will, and when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry. Oh, from henceforth I will help. And is the wise fool. Missy, what think you of falling in love? Marry, do I prithee to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport neither than with the safety of a pure blush, thou mayest with honour have offered him. But what shall be our sport then? Let us sit and mock the good housewife fortune with her wheel, that she may henceforth sow her gifts more equally.
I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced. And the bountiful blind woman does most mistake in her gifts to women.
True. For those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest. For those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favouredly.
No, now thou goest from fortune's office to nature's. Fortune reigns in gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No. If nature has made a creature fair, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wits to flout his fortune, hath not fortune sent in this fool to cut off the argument?
Indeed, there is fortune too hard for nature. When fortune makes nature's natural, the cutter off of nature's wit.
Peradventure, this is not fortune's work neither, but nature's, who perceiving our natural wits too dull to reason with such goddesses, hath sent in this natural to be our whetstone. Forever the dullness of the fool was the whetstone of the wits. How now, wits? Whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Will you make a messenger?
No, by mine honour, but I was fit to come for you.
Where learnt you that oath, fool?
A certain knight that swore by his honour they was good pancakes, and swore by his honour that the mustard was naught. Now, I'll stand to it, the pancakes were naught and the mustard was good. And yet was not the knight forsworn.
How prove you that in the great heap of your wisdom?
Ay, marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Well, stand you both forth now. Stroke your chins. And swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honour, for he never had any. Or if he had, he had sworn it away before ever he saw those pancakes with that mustard.
And prithee, who is that thou meanest?
One that old Frederick, your father, loves.
Father's love is enough to honour him. Enough to speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest true. For since the little wit that fools have was silenced, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Here comes Madame Lebeau.
With a mouthful of news.
But she will put upon us like a pigeon feeds her young.
Then shall we be news crowned.
All the better, we shall be the more marketable. Oh, Madame Lebeau, what's the news? Fair princess, you have lost much good sport. Sport? Of what colour? What colour, madame? How shall I answer you?
As wit and what you will.
I the destiny decree.
Well said, that was laid on with a trowel.
Nay, Marquis, not my rank.
Thy losest thy own smell.
Sir.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyship, you may see the end, for the best is yet to do. And here where you are, they are coming to perform it. Well, the beginning, that is dead and buried. There came an old man and his 3 sons. I can match this beginning with an old tale. 3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence.
With bills upon their necks. and to all men by these présents.
The eldest of the three wrestled with Charles the Duke's wrestler, and Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, that there is little hope of life in him. And so he serves the second, and so the third. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them, that all the beholders take his part in weeping. Alas!
But what is the sport, madame, that the ladies have lost?
Aye, this that I speak of.
Well, thus men may grow wiser every day. It's the first time ever I heard breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
Nor I either.
But is there any other longs to see this broken music in his side? Is there yet another soaks upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here is a place appointed, and they are ready to perform it. Yonder shore they are coming. Let us now stay and see it. Charles! 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 Charles!
Come on! Since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madame. Alas, he is too young, but he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin, are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There is such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Madame Lebeau.
Do so, I'll not reply.
Monsieur le Challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess, he is the genuine challenger. I come but in as others do, to try with him the strength of my youth.
Sir, your spirits are too bold for your years. You've seen cruel proof of this man's strength. You saw yourself with your eyes, or knew yourself with your judgment. The danger of this sport would counsel you to a more equal enterprise. I pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir, your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We shall make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, when I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent lady as anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shame, who is never gracious. If killed, one there who is willing to be so. I will do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament with. The world no injury, for in it I am nothing. Only in the world do I fill up a place. Which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine's weak out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires go with you.
Come, where is this young gallant that so desirous to lower his better earth? Ready, sir, we'll have in it a more modest working.
Ooh.
You shall try but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace, you shall not entreat for a second when you so mighty persuaded for a first. And you mean to mock me after, you should not have mocked me before. So come your ways.
No Hercules be thy speed, young man.
Charles!
Yeah.
Come on!
Yeah.
Come on, lad.
Charles.
Yeah.
Come on, Charles.
Oh, excellent young man! Oh, that's fabulous! I can tell you was Charles!
Get up there. Get him. Come on. Oh, come on. Now, this is it. Yes.
Yes, I beseech your grace, I am not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away, bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honourable. I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased thee with this deed, hadst thou descended from another house. But hear me well. Thou art a gallant youth. I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were I my father, Cub, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son. I would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved his father dearly. The whole world was of my father's mind. Had I before known this young man, his son, I would have given him tears unto entreaties ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises and love her justly, that you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One as it suits his fortune, who would give more but that her hand lacks clean. Fare you well.
Yes. Aye. Are you well, sir?
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a quick name, a mere lifeless block.
He calls us back. Oh, my pride! Foul with my fortunes, I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Up with you! Fare you well.
What passion hangs and waits upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged confidence. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown. Oh, Charles, there's something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved thy commendation, true applause, love. Such is now the Duke's condition, that he misconstrues all that you have done. The Duke is humorous, and what he is indeed more suits you to conceive than I to speak of.
I thank you, madam, but pray you tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke, that here was the wrestling?
Neither is his daughter, if we judge by manners. But yet, indeed, the shorter is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, here detained by her usurping uncle, to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I could tell you that of late, the Duke has claimed displeasure against this gentle, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake. But upon my life, His malice against the ladies will suddenly break forth. Now, sir, fare you well. Hereafter, in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I risk much bounden to you, fare you well. But must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant duke unto a tyrant brother? Heavenly grotty.
My cousin? My Rosalind! Oh, Cupid, have mercy, not a word.
Oh, not one to throw at the dog.
No, thy words are too precious to cast away upon curs. Come, throw some of them at me. Come, lame me with reason.
Then there were two cousins laid up, when the one should be lame with reasons and the other mad without any.
What is all this for thy father?
No, son, for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this working day's world.
They are but birds, cousin, thrown upon you in holiday foolery. If we tread not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These birds are in my heart.
Hem them away.
I would try if I could try. And have him.
Come, come, wrestle with thy affection.
They take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Good wishes, Rosalind. You will cry in time, in spite of us all. But turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible that a cousin you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
Well, my father loved his father dearly.
Does it therefore follow that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase, I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly. Yet I keep not Orlando.
Oh, no, faith, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? That's not well deserved.
Oh, let me love him for that. And do you love him because I do? Oh, look, here comes the Duke.
His eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispense you with your safe estate and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, in these 10 days, that thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Give me the knowledge of my fault, bear with me. With myself I hold intelligence. I've acquaintance with mine own desires. If I do not dream or be not frantic as I trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unfold did I offend your highness.
Thus do all thinkers. If their purgation did consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
But your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. There's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when my highness banished him. This is not inherited, my lord, and if you do derive it from your friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Oh, then, good my liege, mistake me not to think my poverty is treacherous.
Prithee, sir, hear me speak.
Hey, Celia. He stayed her for your sake. Else had she with her father been so long.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was that time too young to value her. But now I know her. If she be a traitor, why, so am I. We evermore slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, ate together. Wheresoe'er we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for me. And her smoothness, and the silence, and the patience. Speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more right and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
That's that sentence said on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool! You niece, provide yourself. If you are to stay the time, then upon mine honour, and with the greatness of my word, you die!
Poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I'll give thee mine! I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am. I have more cause. Thou hast not, cousin. I prithee be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter? That he hath not. Thou hast not. Oh, Rosalind lacks then the love that teaches thee that thou and I are one. Should we be sundered? Should we part? Sweet girl, no, lest my father seek another heir. Therefore, devise with me how we may fly, whither to go, and what to bear with us. Do not seek to take thy change upon thyself, to keep thy grief thyself and leave me out. By this heaven, now our sorrows pale. Say what thou canst. I'll go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us to travel forth so far, maids as we are? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like to you, so we may pass along and never stir as sailors.
Were it not better, because I am more than common tall, it did suit me all points like a man, a gallant kirtle axe upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there what hidden woman fears there will. Or we'll have a swashing and a martial outside, as many mannish cowards do that will outface it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse name than Jove's own page. Therefore, look you call me Ganymede. What will you be called?
Oh, something that hath reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena?
But cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish thrall fall from my father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travels?
He'll go along all the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Now, let's away to get our jewels and our wealth together, devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit, which shall be made after my flight. Now, go we in content to liberty and not to banishment.
Now, my comrades and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of picking from? Yeah! Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Yeah! If we but the penalty of Adam. The seasons different as the icy clang and churlish chiming of the winter's wind, which ignites and blows upon my body even till I shriek with cold. I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counsellors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Ah, sweet are the uses of a serpent, which, as the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this, our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, native burghers of this desert city should in their own confines, with talking heads, have their round haunches yawn. Indeed, my lord, melancholy gateway priest, as in that time, swears that you do more usurp than doth your brother who has banished you. So, my friend Ambion and myself, this dear Nottingham, and say, under an oak, through the antique route deep down along the brook that brawls along the to which a poor requested stag, who from the hunt today was pain of her, did come to land. And indeed, my lord, expect indeed for such flesh, both that their discharge is stretching seven coat almost to bursting, and 2 round tears coursed down his innocent nose in pity himself. And thus, the hairy foot must mark it on the melancholy gateway. On the extremest verge of the spectacle, augmenting it with tears. But what said Jacques? Did he not moralise the spectacle?
Oh, yes, to 1,000 similes. First, when he's weeping in the needless street. Oh, dear, spoke he, thou makest a testament firm and true, giving thy son a thought, that which hath developed. Then, being there alone, resting and back, without a friend, it is right, that misery just half such company. Anon, a careless herd full of the pasture, just alongside, and never stayed to greet him. Aye, spoke Jacques, sweep on, you laughing, greasy citizen, 'tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there? Thus, most effectively, it is to view the lodge of our country, city, port, grown that we are mere usurpers, and what more, right down in all, kill them up as their assigned as they dwelling place.
Why, what makes you here? Why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? And wherefore art you gentle, strong and valiant? Why would you be so fond to overcome the bonny prize of the humorous Duke? Your praises come too swiftly only for you. Know you not, master? To some kind of men, their virtues serve them but as enemies. No more to yours. Your graces, gentle master, as sanctified to the holy traitors to you. Oh, what a world is this, where what is comely envenoms him that bears it.
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, come not within these doors, within this roof. The enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother, no brother, yet the son, yet not the son, I will not call him son, of him I was about to call your father, has heard of your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. Oh, if he fail of that, he hath other means to cut you off. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
What, would thou have me go beg my food? Or the base and boisterous sword, thieve the common living from the common road? This I must do, or know not what to do. Yet this I will not do how I can. I would rather...
Do not do so. I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire that I saved unto your father, that I did store to be my foster nurse, when service in these old limbs lies laid, and unregarded age in corners thrown. Take that, and he that doth the ravens feed ye, providently caters for the sparrows. Be comfort in my age, take the gold. All this I give to you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. For in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors to my blood, nor with unbashful forehead woo the means of weakness and debility. Therefore my age is as lusty winter, frosty but kindly. Let me go with you. I'll do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man, how well in me appears the constant service of the antique world, where service sweat for duty, not for meed. How not for the fashion of these times, where none sweat but for promotion, and having that, choke their service up even with the having. It's not so with thee. The poor old man, thou provest a rotten tree, that cannot so much as a blossom yield, in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But come thy ways, we'll go along together, and there we have thy youthful wages spent. We'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, you go on and I will follow you to my last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years until 80, here lived I, but now live here no more. At 17 years many their fortunes seek, but at 80 it is too late a week. Yet fortune could not recompense me better than to die well and not be master's debtor.
Can it be possible? No man saw them? It cannot be. The villains of my court are of consent and sufferance in this.
Well, I can't hear of any that you see her. The ladies in attendance on their chamber saw her bed, yet in the morning they found the bed untreasured of their mistress. My lord, the Roynish clan whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh is also missing. Hesperia, the lady's gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly overheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the young wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles. She believes that wherever they have gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Bids that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. Do this suddenly, and let not search and inquisition fail to bring again these foolish runaways.
I'm weary in my spirit.
Okay, not spirits, my legs were not weary.
Oh, I could find in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and to cry like a woman. Oh, but I must comfort the weaker vessel. A doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
Pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I would rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now am I in Arden, the more fool I. When I was at home I was in a better place. But travellers must be content.
Aye, be so good touchstone. But look you, who comes here, young man and old woman in solemn talk?
That's the way to make her strong, you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I hardly guess, for I have none dare know.
No, Corin, being old thou canst not yet. But in thy youth I was as true another as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. If thy love were ever like to mine, sure I think did never man love so. How many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into the toast that I have forgot.
Ah, thou hast then ne'er loved so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee fall into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat, as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe! Phoebe! Phoebe!
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I mine. I remember when I was in love. I
broke my sword upon the stone, a pretty place that for coming a night to Jane's smile. And I remember the hissing of her batter, and the cow's dummies which are pretty chopped down with the bills. And I remember the wooing of a peas cod instead of her, from whom I took 2 cods, and giving her them again, I said with weeping tears, wear these for my sake. We that are true lovers do run into strange capers. But, as all is mortal in nature, so all nature in love is mortal in folly.
Thou speakst wiser than thou art ware of.
Nay, I shall never wear my own wit till I break my shins again.
Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, oh, it grows something stale to me.
Pray, someone go on. Yon shepherdess and sheep of gold will give us any food.
I die almost from hunger.
Hola, here, you clown.
Oh, peace, you fool. She's not my kinsman. Who calls?
You're better's ma.
Else they are very wretched. Peace, I say. Good evening to you, friend. And to you, gentle sir. And to you all. I prithee, shepherdess, if that love or gold could in this desert place buy entertainment, and bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. He is a young maid with travel much oppressed, and faints for succour.
Oh, fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than for my own, my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am shepherd to another man. I do not share the places that I graze. My master is of churlish disposition, and little recks to find the way to heaven by doing things of hospitality. Besides, his cart, his flock, his bounds of feed are now for sale. And at our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on. But what is? Come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy this flock and pasture?
That young swain you saw about Erwine that little cares for buying anything.
I prithee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage pasture and the flock, and you shall have to pay for it of earth.
And we will mend thy wages. Oh, I like this place, and willingly would waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be so. Go with me, and if you like upon report the soil, the profit, and this kind of life, I will your faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right soundly.
If ever I thank anyone, I'll thank you. For that which they call compliment is like the encounter of 2 dog apes. Someone thanks me heartily, methinks
I have given them a penny, and they render me the beggarly thanks. Come, sing, and you that will not, come, hold your tongue.
I'll end the song and come a while. The Duke will drink under this tree. He has been all this day to look at you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. It's too disputable for my company. I think of as many things, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of it. Come, warble, come. It's a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle.
Ah.
Come, I'll go sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against the firstborn of Egypt.
And you go tell the Duke the banquet is prepared.
Sweet master, I can go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how now, Adam? No greater heart in thee? Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it, or bring it for food to thee. My conceit is nearer death than thy powers. For my sake, be comfortable a while. Hold death at the arm's end, and I'll be with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art the mocker of my labour. Cheerly, good Adam. I'll be with thee quickly. Thou liest in the bleak air. Come, I'll bear thee to some shelter. Thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner. There be any living thing in this desert. Cheerly, good Adam.
I think you've been transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like your man.
Well, here he was merry, hearing of song.
If he compact of jars go musical, we shall have shortly discord in the spheres. Go seek him. Tell him I would speak with him.
But he saves my labours by his own approach.
Why, hello, monsieur. What a life is this, that your four friends must woo your company. You look merrily a fool.
A fool? I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool. A miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on fortune in good set tone. Good set tone. And yet a fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not fool till heaven hath set me fortune. And so saying, he drew a dial from his poke, and gazing on it with lacklustre eye, he said, "It's 10 o'clock. Thus may you see how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and an hour from now 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we write and write, and then from hour to hour we rot and rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear this motley fool
thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like Chanticleer, that fools could be so deep contemplative. But I did lower, sans intermission, an hour by his dialogue. Noble fool, a worthy fool.
What fool is this?
A noble fool. One that has been a courtier and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know them. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observations, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, worthy fool. I'm ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It's my only suit. But provided that you heed your better judgment of all opinion that grows rank enough, that I am wise. Give me liberty withal, as large a charter as the winds are blown whom I please, for so fools have. And they that are most galled with my folly, they most must laugh. Why must they so? The wise as plain as way to parish church. He that a fool doth very wisely hit, doth very foolishly, although he smart, not to seem senseless of the ball. Otherwise, the folly of the wise man is anatomized by the squandering glances of the fool. Invest me in my body. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body, the infected world.
Fie on thee. I could tell what thou wouldst do.
What for account would I do for good?
Most mischievous foul sin in Chinese sin. For thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the brutish sting itself. And all the embossed souls and headed evil that thou, with license of freeboot, hast caught, wouldst thou disgorge in the general world.
Who can cry out on pride that can daring tax any private part? Does it not flow as hugely as the sea, till with a weary very means do ebb? What woman of the city do I name when I say, the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders? Who can come in and say, I mean her, when such a one as she, such is her neighbour? Or what is he, of basest function, that says his bravery is not on my cost, thinking I mean him, but therein suits his folly to the matter of my speech? For what then? Where then? How then? Let me see wherein my tongue hath wronged him. If he do him right, then he hath wronged himself. If he be free, why then my taxing like a wild goose flies, unclaimed of any man. Forbear and eat no more. None yet, nor shall not till necessity be served. What kind should this come of?
Art thou thus boldened, man, by thy distress? Or else I would despise of good manners that incivility thou seems so empty.
You touch my vein at first. The thorny point to bear distress has taken from me to show smooth civility. But I am inland bred and know some nurture. Forbear, I say! He dies that touches any of this, which I and my affairs are answering.
You'll not be answered with reason. You must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your falsehood as the gentle.
I must die for whom, let me have it.
Well, sit down and feed. And welcome to our food.
Speak you so gently. Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, loose and neglect, but creeping out of time, ever you have looked on better days, ever been where bells known to church, if ever sat at any good man's feast, ever from your eyelids wipe the tear, and know what is to pity, be pity. That gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my glory.
True is it that we have seen better days, and been told, and been knolled to church with holy veil, and sat at good men's feet, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered, and therefore sit with you down and gentle, and take upon command what help we have.
Let us forbear your food a while, whilst like as though I get to find my form. There's an old poor man who, after me hath many a weary step, linked in pure love, till he be first sufficed, frightened the breast with two weak eagles, age and hunger. I'll not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank you, be blessed for your good comfort.
wide and universal theatre presents more awful pageants than the scene wherein we play it.
All the world will say, and all the men and women merely play it. Have their entrances and their exits.
Which man in his time played many parts, his acts being 7 stages. First, the infant, mewing and puking in the nurse's arms. The whining schoolboy with shining morning face, creeping unwillingly like snails to school.
Then, the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then the soldier, full of strange oaths,
Bearded like the past, jealous in honour, quick and sudden in quarrel, seeking the bubble, a reputation, even animal mouth.
then the justice, hump of fair round belly, with good capon line,
Eyes severe, beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances.
and so he plays his part. The 6th page
Ushers in the lean and slippered pantaloon, spectacles on nose, his pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, his big manly voice turning again towards childish trebles, pipes and whistles in his sound.
last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history. Second childishness, mere oblivion. It's on teeth, it's on eyes, it's taste, it's on everything.
Oh, welcome. Sit down, your venerable father, and let him be.
I thank you most for him.
So that you need, I scarce can thank you for myself. Welcome. Fall to, I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousin, sing.
As moving gratitude
mine eye doth his effigies witness, most truly limbed and living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father, the residue of your fortune. Come to my tent, Sheldon. Good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand. Let me all your fortunes understand.
Mercy, I should not seek an absent argument of my revenge, thou present. But look to it. Find out my brother wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle. Bring him dead or living within this 12 months. Or come thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy lands and all things that thou dost call thine worth seizure do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, but your Highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou! Well, push him out of doors, and let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently, and turn him going.
And thou, thrice-crowned Queen of Knights, survey with thy chaste eye and thy pale spear above, thy huntress name, which my full life doth sway. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts shall character. And every eye that within this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, the unexpressive she.
And how like you the shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Oh, truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it's a good life. But in respect of the shepherd's life, it's not. Or in respect it's solitary, I like it very well. But in respect it's private, it's a very vile life. Now, in respect it's in the fields, it pleaseth me well. But in respect it's not in the court, it's tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humour well. But as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more, but I know that the more one sittens, the worse that he is. That he that lacks money, means, and content is without 3 good friends. That the property of rain is to wet and fire to burn. That a good pasture makes fat sheep. That a great cause of the choice is a lack of sun. And that he that hath learned no wit by nature or art makes neither good reading or else.
Not to one in the natural one. What's never in court, shepherd?
Hey, truly.
And thou art damned.
For not being at court.
damned. Like an egg ill roasted all on one side.
And not being at court, your reason.
Why, I never was to court. I never saw its good manners. If I never saw its good manners, then thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlour state, shepherd.
Not a whit touchstone. Those that are good manners at court are as ridiculous in the country as the behaviour of the country is most markable at court. You told me you salute not at court, but you kiss your hands. That courtesy would be most uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, briefly, come in, sir.
Wait, we are still handing now used, and their bells, you know, are greasy.
Does not your courtier's hands sweat, and he's not as grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, a better instance I'll take up.
Besides, our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them the sooner, shallow, again, a more sounder instance, I say.
And they are often tarred over with the surgery of our sheep. Would you have us kiss, tar? Courtiers' hands are perfumed with civet.
Most shallow woman. Thou worms meat in respect of a good piece of flesh indeed. Learn from the wise and pert end. Civet is of a baser birth, and tar the very uncleanly flax of a cat. Many instant shepherd.
You have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Well, thou rest, damned. God help thee, shallow woman. God make incision in thee, thou art wrought.
Sir, I am a true labourer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear. Oh, no man hate, envy no man's happiness. Glad of other men's good, content with my heart. And the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes raised and my lambs sucked.
That is another simple sin in you, that bring the ewes and the rams together, and that offer you get your living by the copulation of cattle. To be a ball to a bellwether, and to betray the she-lamb of a 12-month to a crooked, pated old cuckoldly ram out of all reasonable match. If thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. I cannot see else how thou shouldst escape.
Oh, here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From the east to western in, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her words being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lines are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
I'll rhyme you so 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours expected.
A fool.
What for a taste? If the heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Wintered garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. Those that reap a sheep and find, let the cart with Rosalind. Sweetest nut have sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose must find love's prick and Rosalind. This is a very false gallop of verses. Why don't you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool, I found them on a tree.
Truly the tree yields bad fruit.
Peace, here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
How can this ever be? For it is unpeopled? No. Tongues I'll hang on every tree, that shall civil saying show. Some, how brief the life of man, runs his erring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in the sum of age. Some have violated vows twixt the souls of friend and friend, but upon the fairest vows, or at every sentence end, will I, Rosalinda, write, teaching all that read to know, the quintessence of every sprite heaven shall in little show.
Oh, most gentle pulpiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried, have patience, good people.
How now, back friends? Shepherd, go off a little. Go with her, sirrah.
Oh, come, Shepherd, let's make an honourable retreat. Though not with bag of baggage, yet with scrip and scrippage.
Hearest thou these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all and more too. But some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
That's no matter. The feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame and could not bear themselves without the verse, therefore stood lamely in the verse.
But hearest thou these verses, without wondering why thy name should be hung and carved upon these trees?
It was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you came. But look here, what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since my father's times. I was an Irish rat, which I can hardly remember.
Knowest thou who's done this?
Is it a man?
And the chain that you once wore about his neck changed you colour?
Prithee, who?
Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet. The mountains may be moved by earthquakes and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Oh, nay, but no, with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and again wonderful. And after that, out of all, whooping.
Good my complexion. Dost thou think thou in comparison like a man I have a doublet in hose in my disposition? Oh, 1 inch more of delay is a south sea of discovery. Oh, and prithee tell me who it is quickly and speak apace. Oh, I would thou couldst stammer, that I might pour this concealed man out of thy mouth like wine from a narrow-necked bottle, either too much at once or none at all. Oh, I prithee take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So thou mayst put a man in thy belly.
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head where the hat? Is his chin where the beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Well, God will send more if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard if you delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando. The kick of the wrestler's heels and your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. It's that brow and true, nay. It's faith, cuz. 'Tis he. Orlando. Alas, today! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? Oh, what did he when thou sawest him? Oh, what said he? Oh, how looked he? Oh, wherein went he? Oh, what makes he here? Did he ask me? Where remains he? Oh, how parted he with thee, and when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me gargantuous mouth first. Is it a word too great for any mouth of this age's size? To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But does he know I am here in the forest, and in man's apparel? Oh, looks he as freshly as the day he wrestled.
It is easier to count atomies than to resolve the propositions of a lover. Take a taste of my finding, and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops such fruit.
I prithee give me audience, good madam. Proceed. He lay along the ground, like a wounded knight.
So it be a pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry holler to the tongue, I prithee, it covets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Ominous! He comes to kill my heart!
He would sing my song without a burden, thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? And when I think I must speak. Sweet, say on.
It brings me out. Comes not he here? Tis he, sleep well.
But I thank you for your company, but good faith, I would as lief be by myself alone.
And so would I. Yet for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society. God by you. Let's meet as little as we can. I do desire we may be better strangers. I pray you, mar no more of our trees with writing love songs in their bark. I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favouredly. Rosalind's your love's name? Yes, just. I don't like her name. Oh, there is no thought of praising you when she is risen. What Where's my heart?
You are full of pretty answers. I'm sure you've been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and condomat of rings.
Not so, but I answer you right painted cloth from whence you studied your questions. You have a nimble wit.
I think it was made of Atalanta's heels. Come, let us sit and rail against our mistress the world and all our misery.
I will chide no breeder in the world but myself, against whom I know most fault.
The only fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I would not change for your best virtue. I'm weary of you.
By my faith. I was seeking for a fool, and I found you.
He's drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
Where will I see but mine own figure?
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I will tarry with you no longer, good Signor Love.
I'm glad of your departure. As you, good Monsieur Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. You here, Forester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is so clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Well, then there is no true lover in the forest. How sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
Why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who did he trot withal?
Marry? He trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. Oh, if the interim be but a stenite, time's pace is so hard, seems the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks the Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sits easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one, lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
And who did he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows. For though he go as softly as foot can fall, he finds himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation. They sleep between term and term. An old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man and knew courtship only too well. But there he fell in love. Oh, I've heard him read many lectures against it. And I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offences as he has generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he made to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all as one another as halfpenny are. Every one fault seeming monstrous, till its fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee recount some of them.
No, I will not recount my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving provolines upon their bark, hangs oaths upon hawthorns, elegies upon brambles, auspices deified the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. Pray tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which case you brushes, I am sure you are no prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. But I pardon you for that, for your having in beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, loving yourself as seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would that I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it. Which I warrant she is apter to do than to confess she does. It's one of the points in the which women give the lie to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you really he that hangs the best on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to the youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Well, love is merely a madness, and deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And I'll tell you why they're not so cured and punished is, that the lunacy is so ordinary, the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any, sir?
Yes, once, and in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me. At which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, longing, liking, changeable, full of tears, full of smiles, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as women and boys are for the most part cattle of this colour, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, now forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from a mad humour of love to a living humour of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him, and in this way will I take upon me to cure you, to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, for there be not one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, you.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my coat and woo me.
By the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Well, go with me to it. And by the way, you shall show me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. If so, will you go?
On a man yet, doth my simple feature content you?
Your features, Lord, warrant us what features?
I am here with thee and I go, like the most capricious poet, honest Ovid was among the gods.
Knowledge ill inhabited, worth of Jove in a thatched house.
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded with a forward child understanding, it strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly I would have God that made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest indeed word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly. But the truest poetry is the most fading. And lovers are given to poetry, and what they do swear in poetry may be said, as lovers they do fame.
You wish then the gods had made me poetical?
I do truly. But thou swearest to me thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst fame.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly. For honesty, coupled to beauty, is to have honey as sauce to sugar.
Material fool.
Well, I'm not fair, and therefore I do pray the gods make me honest.
Truly, and to cast away honesty upon a foul slut was to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I'm not a slut. Though I thank the gods I'm foul.
Well, praise be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. But be it as it may be, I will marry thee. And to that end I'll be with Sir Oliver Martex, the vicar of the next village, who have promised to meet me in this place of the forest and in Cutler.
Fain see this meeting.
Oh, God give us joy!
Amen. A man may, if he were of a fearful heart, stagger in this attempt, for here we have no temple but the woods, no assembly but laundry, but what though? Courage. Adorns are odious, they are necessary. It is said, many a man knows no end of his goods, right? Many a man has good horns and knows no end of them. Well, that is the dowry of his wife, he's none of his own, get in. Horns, even so. Poor men only? No, no. No, this deer after as huge as a rascal. He's a single man, therefore blessed. No, as a walled town is more worthier than a village, so is the forehead of a married man more honourable than the bare brow of a bachelor. By how much defence is better than no skill, by so much is the whole more precious than the one. Here comes Sir Oliver. Sir Oliver Martex, you're well met. Will you dispatch us here under this tree, or shall we go with you to the old chapel?
Is there none here to give the woman?
Oh, I will not take her on gift of any main.
Truly she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed. I'll give her.
Well, good evening, good master, what you call it. How do you, sir? You're very well met. God he'll do you a nice company. I'm very pleased to see you. Even a toy in hand here, sir. Nay, pray be covered.
Will you be married, Motley?
Was the ox stuff its bow, sir, and the horse his curve, and the falcon her bell, so man hath his desires, as pigeons will, so wedlock would be nibbling.
Will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? No, get you to church and find a proper priest who can tell you what marriage is. This fellow will but join you as they join wainscot, and if one of you will prove a green timber and prove a shrunk panel and like green timber, walk.
I'm not as a matter of a mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another. For he's not like to marry me well, and not being well married would be a good excuse for me hereafter to leave the wife.
Go with me, Motley, and let me counsel you.
I'll come, sweet Aldring, we must be married, or we must live in Baldry. Farewell, good Master Oliver, not oh, sweet Oliver, oh, no, Oliver, please be not behind me, but wind away, go not
No matter. There in front of us, the full name of the Lord shall both be what you calling.
Never have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
Much cause as one would desire, therefore weep.
His very hair is of the dissembling colour.
Something browner than Judas's. Marry his kisses, the Judas's own children.
His face, his hair is of a good colour.
Oh, an excellent colour. Marry a chestnut is ever the only colour.
And his kissing is as full of sanctity as the touch of holy bread.
He has borrowed a pair of cowslips of Diana, and none of winter's sisterhood kisses not more religiously. The very ice of chastity is in them.
So why did you swear he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, there is no truth in him. You think so? Yes. I think he's not a pick-purse, nor a horse-stealer, but for his verity in love, I do think him concave as a covered goblet, or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he's in, but I think he is not in.
You've heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not in. Besides, the words of a lover are no stronger than the words of a tapster. They're both the confirmers of false beckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duke, your father.
Oh, I met the Duke yesterday and had much question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was. So I told him I was as good as he, and he laughed and let me go. Oh, but what talk we of fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Oh, he's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths and breaks them bravely, quite reverse of what the heart of his lover. There's a puny kilter that spurs his whole foot on one side and breaks his staff like a noble goose. Oh, that all's brave that youth mounts and folly guides. Who comes here?
mistress and master. You have often inquired after the shepherd who complained of love, who you saw sitting by me on the turf, praising the proud, disdainful shepherdess that was his mistress.
Well, what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I shall conduct you if you will mark it.
Oh, come, let us remove. Sight of lovers feedeth those in love. Bring me to this sight, and you shall say I'll prove a busy actor in their play.
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me. Do not, Phoebe. Say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humble's neck, but begs first pardon. Well, you stood in a bead, and he who dies and lives by bloody drops.
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tells me there is murder in mine eye. It is pretty sure and very probable that I, that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on Actimus, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart. And if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. So I now fall down. Oh, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now show the wound mine eye hath made in thee. Scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. Lean upon a rush, the cicatrice and capable impression of thy palms a moment keep. But now mine eyes which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not. Nor, I am sure, there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh dear Phoebe, if ever, as that ever may be near, you find in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time come thou not near me. For when that time comes, afflict me with thy mock, pity me not. Till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why not, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? What though you have no beauty, as I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed? Must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why, what means this? Why do you look upon me? I see no more in you than the ordinary of nature's spells work. What's my little life? I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can entain my spirits to your worship. You foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her like foggy south puffing with wind and rain? You were 1,000 times a proper man, and she a woman. Such fools as you that make the world full of ill-favoured children. It's not her glass, but you that flatters her. And out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But mistress, know yourself, and down on your knees. Thank heaven, thank a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell while you can, you're not for old markets. Try the man's mercy. Love him, take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd.
Very well. Sweet youth, I pray you, chide a year together. I'd rather hear you chide than this man word.
He has fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. If it be so, as fast as she answers thee with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why do you look so upon me?
No ill will I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. If you will know my house, it is at the Tuft of Olives, here hard by. Come, sister. Shepherd, ply her hard. Come, sister. Shepherdess, look on him better. And be not proud. Though all the world could see, none could be so abused in sight as he.
Come to our flock. Dead shepherd, now I find my store of might. Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe!
What sayst thou, Sylvia?
Sweet Phoebe! Pity me!
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Sylvia.
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief in love, by giving love, your grief and my sorrow were both extermined.
Oh, hast my love, is not that neighbourly?
I would have you.
Why, that was covetousness. Sylvia, the time was that I hated thee, and yet it is not that I bear thee love, but that thou canst talk of love so well. Thy company, which first was irksome to me, I will endure, and I'll employ thee too. But do not look for further recompense, for I know gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace, that I shall think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man that the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Knowst thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, though I have met him oft, and he has bought the cottage in the bounds that the old harlot once was master of.
Think that I love him though I ask of him. 'Tis but a peevish boy, and yet he talks well. But what care I for words? Yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. It is a pretty youth, not very pretty, but sure he's proud. And yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion. And faster than his tongue did make offence, his eye did heal it up. He's not very tall, yet for his years he's tall. His leg is but so-so, and yet 'tis well. There are pretty redness in his lips, a little riper and more lusty red than that lips in his cheeks. There's just the difference betwixt the constant red and mingled damask. There be some women, Sylvia, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not nor hate him not. And yet, I've more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? He said mine eyes were black and my hair black. I have remembered scorn at me. I marvel I answer not again. That's all one, amidst his no quickness. I'll write to him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Sylvia?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight, the matters in the head and in my heart. I'll be bitter with her, passing short. Go with me, Sylvia?
Pretty you. I would be better acquainted with you.
Well, they say you are a melancholy fellow.
And so, I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of either are abominable fellows, and betray themselves to every modern censure worse than drunkards.
So it is better to be sad and say nothing.
Why then, 'tis good to be a post.
To my mind, I have not the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician, which is fantastic, nor the courtier, which is proud, nor the soldier, which is ambitious, nor the lawyer, which is politic, nor the ladies, which is nice, nor the lovers, which is all of these. It's a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
Traveller, by my faith, then you have great reason to be sad, for I fear you have sold your own land to see other men's. And to have rich eyes and poor hands is to have seen much and gained nothing.
I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad. I'd rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad. And
And to travel for it, too.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Goodbye, you. And you, talk in blank verse.
Farewell, Monsieur Traveller. Look, you lisp and wear strange suits. Disable all the benefits of your country. Be out of love with your nativity. And almost chide God for making you that countenance you are. For I would scarce think you're swam in a gondola. How now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? And you a lover? Never come in my sight more.
Fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love? He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts and break but a part of 1,000 parts of a minute may well be said of him that Cupid has clapped him on the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, an you be so tardy, come no more in my sight. I'd at least be wooed of a snail.
A snail?
Aye, of a snail. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head. A better judger, I think, than you make a woman. Besides, he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, horns, which such as you are fain to be beholden to your wife for. But he comes armed in his fortune and prevents the slander of his wife.
Virtue is no horn maker. My Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind. It pleases him to call you so. He hath a Rosalind of a better leer than you. Come, woo me, for now am I in a holiday humour, and like enough to consent. Oh, what would you say to me now when I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you had better speak first, and when you were gravelled for lack of matter, then you might take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they will spit. And for lovers lacking God's warrantous matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
That you put you to entreaty, and there begins new matter.
He could be outing before his beloved mistress.
That would I, if I were your mistress, or I would think my honesty ranker than my wit.
What of my suit?
Not out of your apparel, and yet out of your suit. Am not I your Rosalind?
I take some pleasure to say you are, because then I will be speaking of her.
Well, in her person, I say, I will not have you.
Then in mine own person, I die.
No faith, die by attorney. The poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all this time there was never any man died in his own person in a love cause. Troilus had his brains dashed out with a Grecian glove, and he did what he could to die before. Poor Leander, he would have lived many a fair year, though hero returned none. Poor good youth, he went but forth to the Hellespont and was taken with the cramp and was drowned. And the foolish chroniclers of that age said it was Hero of Sestos. But these are all lies. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my bride Rosalind of this mind, for I protest a frown might kill me.
As this hand, it will not kill a fly. But come, I will be your Rosalind, in a more coming on disposition. Ask me what you will, and I will grant it.
Then love me, dear Rosalind.
Oh, yes, faith will I, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And will thou have me?
I am 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Well, are you not good?
I hope so.
Not for one desire too much of a good thing. Come, sister. You shall be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the word. You must say, will you, Orlando, take to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Why now, as fast as she can marry us?
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I might ask you for your commission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for husband. If a girl goes before the priest, and certainly a woman's thoughts run before her actions.
So do all thoughts, they are winged.
Now tell me how long you would have her after you've possessed her.
Forever and a day.
Say a day without the ever. No, no, Orlando. Venerable when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids. but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more clamorous than a parrot against the rain, more giddy in my desires than a monkey, more newfangled than an ape. I will weep for nothing, like Diana in the fountain. And that's when thou art inclined to be merry, and I will laugh like a hen. And that's when thou art inclined to sleep.
Will my Rosalind do so?
By my life, she will do as I do.
She is wise.
Well, she could not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. Make the doors upon a woman's wit, and 'twill out at the casement. Shut that, and 'twill out at the keyhole. Stop that, and 'twill fly with the smoke out of the chimney.
A man that had a wife with such a wit, he might say wit with a will.
You might keep that check for it, till you met your wife's wit going to your neighbour's bed.
What wit could wit have to excuse that?
Why, to say she came to seek you there. No, no, Orlando, you shall never take her without her answer unless you take her without her tongue. For that woman that cannot make her fault her husband's occasion, let her never nurse her child herself, for she will breed it like a fool.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I must leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner. By 2 o'clock I'll be with thee again.
I go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends told me as much. And I knew no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me. Oh, 'tis but one cast away. And so, come, death. 2 o'clock is your hour.
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
By my troth and in good earnest, and so God mend me, and by all pretty oaths that are not dangerous, if you break one jot of your promise, come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her you call Rosalind, that may be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. So beware my censure and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosalind. So adieu.
Will time is the old justice that examines all such offenders, and let time try. Adieu. You have simply misused our sex in your love crate. You must have your doublet and hose pulled up over your head to show the world what the bird has done to her own nest. Oh, curse, 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 my pretty little curse. Oh, that thou didst know how deep I am in love. But it cannot be sounded. Oh, my affection hath an unknown bottom like the Bay of Portugal, or rather bottomless. But as soon as you pour affection in, it runs out. That same wicked bastard of Venus, that was begot of thought, conceived of spleen, and born of madness. That blind, rascally boy that abuses everyone's eyes because his own are out. Let him be judge how deep I am in love. Oh, tell thee, Aliena, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando.
Leather skin and his horns to wear,
and sing him home, the rest shall bear this burden.
Oh, this burden, take thou no scorn to wear the horn. It was a crest ere thou wast born.
Thy father's father wore it, and thy father bore it.
The horn, the lusty horn, is not the thing to laugh to scorn. What shall we have that killed a deer? His leather skin and his horns to wear.
Then sing him home, the rest shall bear this burden.
Oh, this burden. was a dress that I was born.
Thy father's father wore it, and thy father bore it.
The horn, the lusty horn, it's not the thing to want to scorn.
Well, how say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock and here much Orlando?
I warrant you, with pure heart and troubled brain, you've taken forth his bow and arrow and gone forth to sleep. Look who comes here.
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess by the stern brow and the waspish action which she did use as she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, and says she could not love me were man as rare as Phoenix. What's my will? Her love is not the hair that I do hope. Why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well. This is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest, I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Come, come, you are a fool, and turned into the extremity of love. I saw her hand. She had a freestone-coloured hand, a leathern hand. I verily did think that her old gloves were on, but 'twas her hand. She has a huswife's hand. But that's no matter. I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention, and his hand.
Sure it is hers.
Why, it is a bushless and a cruel style. A style for challenges. Why she defies me like Turk to Christian. Its gentle brains cannot drop forth such giant rude invention, such Ethiop words blacker in their effect than in their countenance. Will you hear this letter?
So please you, for I never heard it yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Why thy godhead laid apart, warrest thou with a woman's heart? Did you ever hear such railing? While the eye of man did woo me that can do no vengeance to me, meaning me, a beast, if the scorn of your bright eye have power to raise such love in mine, alack in me what strange effects that they work in mild aspect. Whiles you chid me I did love, how then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee, little knows this love in me, and by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth in kind will the faithful offer take of me in all that I can make, or else by him my love deny. Then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
Poor shepherd, do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. What, to make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee? Not to be endured. Well, go your ways to her, for I see love has made thee a tame snake. And say this to her, that if she loves me, I charge her to love thee, and if she will not, I will never have her, unless thou entreat for her. Now, if you be a true lover, hence. Hence, but not a word, for here comes more company.
Oh, good morrow, fair ones. Pray do you know where, in the purlieus of this forest, down the sheepcote fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place, down by the neighbouring bottom, the rank of osiers by the murmuring stream, left on your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour there's no one in, you'll find no one there.
And I may profit by a tongue, but should I know you by description, such garments and such years? The boy is fair, of female favour, bestows himself like a right forester. The woman low and browner than her brother. Are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
And both being asked to say we are.
The young Orlando doth commend him to you both, And to that youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends his bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am, but what must we understand by this?
Some of my shame if you will know of me, what man I am, and how, and where, and why this handkerchief stains.
Pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return within an hour, and pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy. Lo, what befell him. He threw his eye aside, and mark what object did present itself. Under an oak, whose boughs were mossed with age, and high-top balls with dry antiquity, a wretched, ragged man lay sleeping on his back. Around his neck, a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, and with her head nimbly fled, approached the opening of his mouth. Suddenly, seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with indented glide would slide away under a bush, under which bush's shade a lioness, with udders all drawn dry, lay couching head on ground with cat-like watch, lest that the sleeping man should stir. For 'tis the royal disposition of that beast to prey on nothing that the scene was dead. Thus seen, Orlando did approach the man and found him as his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him tell of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
Well, he might so do, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the such and hungry lioness?
Twice he turned his back and purpose so, but kindness nobler ever than revenge, and nature stronger than his justification made him do battle with the lioness, who quickly fell before him. In which hurtling from miserable slumber did I awake.
You, his brother, was you he rescued? Was you that did so contrive to kill him?
Was I, but is not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly takes being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin.
And by. When first to last betwixt us two, tears our accountment so kindly made, how I came into this desert place. In brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who came with fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love. He led me instantly into his cave, there stripped himself, and here upon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled. He fainted, and cried and fainted upon his Rosalind. Brief I recovered him, bound his wound, and after some short space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, how you might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin dyed in his blood to that shepherd Duke he doth in sport call his Rosalind.
Oh, Ganymede! Sweet Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There's more in it! Cousin! Ganymede!
Oh, look, he recovers.
Oh, I would I were at home. I'll take him thither. Take him by the arm, sir.
Be of good cheer, you. You a man? You lack a man's heart.
I do, I confess it. But after a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you commend my counterfeiting. Oh.
Counterfeit? This was no counterfeit. So there is too great testimony in your complexion. This was a passion of true earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, be a good heart and counterfeit to be a man.
So I do. In faith, I should have been a woman by rights. Oh, you look paler and paler. Let us draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
Oh, I will. For I must answer back how you exclude my brother, Rosalind.
Well, I will devise something. And I pray you commend my counterfeiting to him. Oh, will you go?
We shall find a time, Aldrich. Patience, gentle old friend.
The face of the priest was good enough for all the old gentlemen's saying.
A most wicked Sir Oliver Audley, a most vile Martex. But, Audrey, there's a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
I know who 'tis. He has no interest in me in the world. Here comes the man you mean.
It's meat and drink to me to see a clown. On my trophy that have good wits and much to answer for. Shall be flouted, we cannot hold.
Good evening, Audrey.
Got your good evening, will you?
And good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, gentle friend. Come I simply discovered. How old are you, friend?
Oh, 5 and 20, sir.
A right age. Is thy name William?
William, aye, sir.
A good name. What's food in the forest, yeah?
Aye, sir, thank God.
Thank God, good Arthur. Not rich.
Faith, sir, so-so.
So-so, good, very good, very excellent, good. And yet it is not, is but so-so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir, I have it pretty wet.
Thou sayest well. I do know ever a saying, fool that think he is wise, but a wise man knows himself to be a fool. Do you love this maid?
I do.
Give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. To act is to act. For it is a figure in rhetoric that drink being poured out of a cup into a glass. By filling the one doth empty the other. For all your writers do consent that Ipsy is he. Now, you are not Ipsy, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He's that must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown, abandon, which is in the vulgar league, the society, which in the voice and company of this female, which is a common woman, which together is abandoned the society of this female. Or clown, thou diest, or to thy better understanding perishest, or to it I'll kill thee, make thee a wait, and take thy life to death. Thy liberty to bondage, I will deal in poison with thee, or in bastinado, in steel, I will bandy with thee in faction, I will all round thee in policy, I will kill thee 150 ways, therefore tremble and depart.
Do good, William.
God rest you merry, sir.
Boo!
Oh, master and mistress, sit you. Come away, come away.
Triple three, I taste.
It's possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her, that but on seeing you should love her, and loving woo, and wooing she should grant. And will you persevere to enjoy her?
Neither call the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance. Consent with me that I love Aliena. Consent with both that we may enjoy each other. For it shall be to your good. For all the estate that was old Sir Roland's, and my father's house, will I estate upon you, and here live and die a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. I'll invite the Duke and all his contented followers. But go you now, prepare Aliena. For look you, here comes my Rosalind.
What says you, brother?
And you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
My arm.
Of course, thy heart has been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, greater wonders than that.
Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true. There was never anything so sudden but the coming together of two rams, and Caesar's personical brag of I came, saw, and overcame. For your brother and my sister no sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, and they sought the remedy. And in these degrees have they made a pair of stairs for marriage, which they will climb incontinent, or be incontinent before marriage. Oh, they are in the very wrath of love, and they will together. That cannot part them.
They shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke to the nuptial. But how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness. By how much shall I think my brother happy in having what he wishes for?
Why then tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
Well, I will weary you then no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose. As I know you are a gentleman of good conceit, I say not this that you should bear a good opinion of my knowledge, insomuch I say I know you are. Neither do I labour for a greater esteem than may in some little belief
draw a measure from you to do yourself good and not to grace me. Believe then, if you will, that I can do strange things. I have, since I was 3 years old, conversed with a magician, most profound in his art and yet not damnable. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her? I know into what straits of fortune she is driven, and it is not impossible to me. It appear not inconvenient to you. To set her before your eyes tomorrow, human as she is, without any danger.
Speak you in sober meaning?
By my life I do, which I tender dearly, though I say I am a magician. Therefore put you in your best array, bid your friends, for if you shall be married tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind if you will. Oh look, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
You have done me much ungentleness to show the letter that I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It's my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. Oh, you are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him. He worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be your maid of sighs and tears, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Daniel.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be your maid of faith and service, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Gandhi.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, and all made of wishes, all adoration, duty, and observance, all humbleness, all patience and impatience, all trial, all purity, all obedience, and so am I for Phoebe.
So am I for Gandhi.
So am I for Rosalind.
So am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Who do you speak to? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not fear.
I pray you no more of this. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I would help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow, meet me together. I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and I shall be married tomorrow. I shall satisfy you if ever I satisfied man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I shall content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. To fare you well, I have left you commands.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Tomorrow is a joyful day, all day tomorrow shall we be married.
You desire it with all my heart. I hope 'tis no dishonest desire to desire to be a woman of the world.
Well met, Miss Gentleman.
Oh, by my troth, well met. Oh, come, sit in a stone.
We're for you. Sit in the middle. Shall we feathers it roundly, without talking or spitting or saying we are us? We should hear these prologues to a bird voice. A face in tune like 2 gypsies on a horse.
Indeed, sir. We kept time. We lost not our time.
I might hope, yes. I counted back time lost to hear such a foolish song. Oh, by and God mend your voices. Yum all three.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not.
When I bring her.
That would I were I of all kingdoms king.
You say you'll marry me if I be willing,
That will I should I die,
but if you do refuse to marry me to wed this most faithful shepherd,
So it's a bargain.
and you say you'll marry Phoebe if she will,
So to have her and death for all one thing.
I've promised to make these matters all even. Keep you your word, O Duke, to give your daughter. Keep you yours, Orlando, to receive his daughter. Keep your word, Phoebe, to marry me, or else refusing me to wed this shepherd. Keep your word, Sylvia, to marry her if she refuse me, and from hence I go to make these matters all even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favour.
My lord, the first time that I ever met him, we thought him a brother to your daughter. But good lord, this boy is forest-born and has been tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by his uncle, whom he reports to be a great magician, obscured in the circle of this forest.
There is sure another flood towards. These couples are coming to the ark. Now here is a very strange pair of beasts, which in all tongues are called fools.
Salutation and greeting to all.
Good, my lord. Bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded fellow I've often met in the forest.
If any man doubt I'm from the court, let him put me to my purgation. I've trod a measure, I've flattered a lady, I've been politic with my friend, I've been smooth with mine enemy, I've done 3 tailors, I've had 4 quarrels and like to have fought one.
And how was that, tailor?
Well, if we met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How's 7th cause? Good, my lord, like this fellow.
Oh, I like him very well.
Well, God is ill due, sir, I desire of you the like. I press in here, sir, amongst the rest of the country's copulatives, to swear and to forswear, according to marriage binds and blood race. A poor virgin, sir, an ill-favoured thing, sir, but mine own, a poor humour of mine, to take that that no man else will. Rich honesty dwells like a miser, sir, in a poor house, as your pearl in your foul oyster.
By my faith, he is very swift and sententious.
According to the fool's bolt and such dulcet diseases.
But the 7th cause, how was the quarrel taken up on the 7th cause?
Upon a lie 7 times removed, there your body more seeming all dressed. As such, sir, I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's feet. He sent me word, if I said it was not cut well, he was in the mind it was. This is called to be taught courteous. I sent him word again it was not well cut. He would send me word he'd cut it to please himself. This is called the quick moddy. If again it was not well cut, he disabled my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not well cut, he would answer, I spake not true. This is called the reproof valiant. If again it was not well cut, he would say, I lie. This is called a counter-check quarrelsome, and so to the lie circumstantial and the lie direct.
And how often did you say his beard was not well cut?
Oh, faith, I durst go no further than the lie circumstantial, nor durst he give me the lie direct.
Can you nominate now, in order, the degrees of the lie?
Oh, sir, we quarrel in prim by the book, because you've got good books for manners. I will name you the degrees. The first that we talk courteous, the second to quick modest, the third to reply churlish, the fourth the reproof valiant, the fifth the counter-check quarrelsome, the sixth the lie with circumstance, the seventh the lie direct. All these you may avoid, but the lie direct, you may avoid that too with an if. Mind you, when 7 justices could not take up a quarrel, but when the parties were met themselves, one of them thought but of an if, as, if I said so, then you said so, and they shook hands and swore brothers. If it is the only peacemaker, much virtue in it.
Is this not a rare fellow, my lord? He's as good as anything, and yet a fool.
He uses his folly like a stalking horse, and out of the presentation of that, he shoots his wit.
Then is there mirth in heaven, when earthly things made even atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her. You brought her hither, that thou mightest join her hand with his whose heart within her bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, I know my love, it's you.
I have no father if you be not he. I have no husband if you be not he. Nor ne'er wed woman if you be not she.
Peace home, I bar confusion, since I must make conclusion of these most strange events. This ape must take hands to join in Hymen's bands, if truth holds true contents. You and you then cross your part, you and you are heart in heart. You to his love must accord, or have a ruin to your lord. You and you are sure together, to winter to foul weather.
While the wedlock hymn we sing, feed yourselves with questioning, that reason wonder may diminish, how thus we met and these things finish.
Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me, even daughter, welcome in no less degree.
I will not eat my word, now thou art mine. My faith, my fancy, to be just confined. Let me have audience for a word or two.
Duke Frederick, hearing how every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power which were on foot in his own conduct, purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. To the skirts of this wild wood he came, where, meeting with an old religious man, after some words with him, was converted both from his enterprise and from the world. His crown bequeathing to his banished brother here, and all their lands restored to them that were with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Ah, welcome, welcome. Oh, first in this forest, let us do those ends that here were well begun and well begot. And after, every of this happy number that have endured shrewd days and nights with us shall share the good of our returned fortune. Meantime, forget this new foreign dignity and fall into our rustic revelry. Play, music, and you brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy, to the measure's fall.
Are your patience? If I do hear you right, the Duke has put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court?
Here.
Then to him I will, for from these convertites there is much matter to be heard and learned. You to your former honour I bequeath, your patience and your virtue well deserved. You to a love that your true faith does merit. You to a land and love and great allies. You to a long and well-deserved bed. You to wrangling, for your loving voyage is but for 2 months' victual. So, to your pleasures. I am for other than for dancing measures.
Stay, Jake, please, stay!
To see no pastime I. What you would have, I'll stay to know at your abandoned cave.
Proceed. Proceed.
we'll begin these rites, as we do trust they'll end, in true delights.
Insinuate with you on behalf of the good play. I am not furnished like a beggar, so to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I will begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as you may please. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women. For I perceive by your simpering none of you hates them. That between you and the women the play may please. Being a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breasts that I defied not. And I am sure as many of you as have good faces, good beards, or sweet breasts, will for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. You've been a wonderful audience. I don't know if you knew it, but last night audiences are renowned for three things: intelligence, perception, and appreciation. And dare I say it, you're no exception. So I hope the cast will join me now in thanking you. Not only does a cast need an audience, it needs a bit of direction too. And I hope you will now join us in thanking Cathy Bradbury and Neil Bailey, our two co-directors who have coaxed us, cajoled us, and kicked us into producing this for you. Cathy and Neil, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Good night.